Hello and good afternoon from downtown El Centro, California, and welcome to a new adventure. I won't call it a transit adventure because it's not really transit, but I'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, you probably want some context after the title of this video, and so here's the context. There's a service run by the federal government called the Essential Air Service, which basically just subsidizes airlines to fly into small airports. And so you can probably see where I'm going with this, but I'm in El Centro, California, which is, I don't know, a few miles south of Imperial County Airport, which is one of the airports that receives subsidized Essential Air Service flights. So these flights fly to Los Angeles and to Phoenix, and they're about once or twice a day, and they're operated by an airline called Southern Airways. I'm going to try them out, not today, but next week, and that'll be in the second half of this video. But first, we're going to compare that to taking FlixBus to LA, and next week we'll fly from LA to here. And so the goal of this is to have a side-by-side comparison, and we're going to see if the Essential Air Service is really worth it at all. So before we get started, let's start with a couple of ground rules for this comparison. To make things fair, I want to, keep as many of the conditions the same as much as I can. So for each trip, I'm going to be traveling without any cars, because my assumption is that people with cars who need to go to LA are going to just drive to LA. And so this is going to be car free regardless of which mode we choose. And it's going to be because this is car free, it's going to be between the central transit hubs of each city, so that riders can then transfer onto local services to get them elsewhere in their metro areas. And so that'll be our basis for timing these, doing a time comparison. And then I'll also at the end compare everything by cost, convenience, comfort, so on and so forth. So anyway, I'm starting here in El Centro's downtown transit center. It's very weird that it's not marked on Google Maps as a transit center, it's just marked as a bus stop, but this is definitely a transit center. Over here, you can see all the bays and everything. This is kind of dated, it's not great, but it's okay. Over behind me, there is the building with bathrooms, water fountains, etc. I don't think you can actually go inside unless you're like a bus driver, but you can use the bathroom. They're open and unlocked, which is great. And then right on the other side of that building is the FlixBus and Greyhound stop. So I will take you all over there in a minute, and we'll be boarding our bus in about a half an hour from now. So for those wondering where El Centro is, that's a very valid question. If you're not from California, you probably don't know it. It's about a third of the way between San Diego and Phoenix. It's a small city. I believe the population is around 45,000 people. It's the largest city in Imperial County, and also the largest city in the US that is below sea level. I think the altitude's like negative 30 feet or something like that. Anyway, it's basically in a desert, like everything is east of the mountains, and yeah. Behind me is the FlixBus stop. I'll show you that in a second. And yeah, in this transit center behind me, they have a decent transit network for the size of the region. It's not great. Frequencies are kind of meh, but it's usable. I used it earlier today. I went to Calexico, and that was kind of cool. It was very busy. The bus was very well used. But anyway, yeah. Let's get ready to go take our FlixBus. Okay, this is wild. They have bolted these lights into the trunk of the palm tree. That's wild. And this is just to, light up the tree at night? Look dramatic? I don't know. That seems quite extra. It does look like they spent a lot of money on this transit center. They have massive flagpoles, fairly large bus bay area, especially for a small transit agency like this. They have this I assume this was meant to grow things up like a trellis, but that clearly hasn't worked out very well. They have this, that looks nice. Okay, I forgot to mention this earlier, but my time starts for each mode, bus or plane, when I board the first thing out of the transit hub of the respective city. So for the FlixBus, that's just when I get on the FlixBus, the time starts. And for the airplane, it starts when I leave LA Union Station next week on Saturday. Also, today is also a Saturday. I had to split this across 2 weeks. It's a very long story, not very interesting. But anyway, the bus should be here soon. On the bus, got an aisle seat, so I won't talk much on here. But yeah, it's 5:48 p.m. We're starting. Okay, it's getting pretty dark. Y'all enjoyed the scenery so far. Just about into Indio. Just passing through Coachella now, and then the Indio, Palm Springs, and then like San Bernardino, I guess, and then LA. I don't know, but that's the plan. I might get a couple clips of the highway at night. I like being on highways at night in a bus. It feels very soothing, but yeah, you probably won't see very much. And yeah, I'll see you when I get to LA. There's Indio bus station. It looks like it's a trailer. This is our Palm Springs stop, which, despite appearances, like, this is literally everything here. The rest is just desert around this freeway exit. There's an Amtrak station south a little bit, but yeah, we're just in the middle of the desert. But whatever floats people's boat, I guess. Okay, we have a couple minutes. It is so windy out here. Anyway, there's the bus. So welcome to this gas station. It's like, yeah, it's 8 p.m. I think we're really running non-stop the rest of the way to LA. We're supposed to get there around 10. I'll see you in LA. This is not at all relevant to the trip, but I made banana bread last night and I packed some with me and I'm very proud of it. It's kind of been smushed up in my bag all day, but so excited. Anyway. Welcome to Los Angeles Union Station, which is the central transit hub of LA. It is 9:54 p.m., which means we have a total travel time on FlixBus from hub to hub of 4 hours and 6 minutes. Not too bad. So, that being said, 3 hours, 56 minutes. Honestly, it was a pretty good trip. I have no complaints. At the start, we went the wrong way, ended up on a farm road, but that was kind of fun. It was pretty. It was an adventure. So honestly, no major complaints, and it was a beautiful ride. During the part that was during the day was stunning, along the Salton Sea area. Lots of farm fields, lots of just beautiful sights out there. Really great experience. I don't know why anyone wouldn't do that, but you know, we're gonna give flying a fair shot, and I will see you here again next week to try that out, and I'll let you know how that goes. Good morning. It is 6:27 a.m. and I'm at Los Angeles Union Station, and I just boarded the flyaway bus to LAX, which means that the second mode of this trip between LA and El Centro has started. So my flight is at 9:25, and yeah, so I'm heading to the airport. Should get there in about an hour, and then I'm gonna go figure out check-in and everything else. As you'll see soon, it's a tiny airline and a tiny plane, so it's gonna be an adventure today. But anyway, official time start for this mode is 6:27 a.m. and we'll see when we get to the downtown transit center in El Centro. But yeah, just leaving LA Union Station, and I'm on the flyaway bus. I feel like I could make a whole video about LAX transit, you know, to the airport, but I feel like there are a lot of people who have already done that. But anyway, I think this was $10. I don't know, I paid with a credit card. It's kind of expensive, but it is the fastest way from Union Station to the airport. And will probably remain that way at least until the new LAX Metro Transit Center opens and the LAX People Mover train to connect you to Metro Rail. So anyway, I'm yapping. I'll see you at LAX. I'll tell you more about the flight and everything there. Thank you. Okay. In. Oh, that says Southern. I don't see anyone here, but hopefully at some point. Okay, so I get that Southern is tiny. And like, you know, there's probably all of like 3 people on this plane. But like, this is LAX, and the ticket counter doesn't open until an hour and 40 minutes before the flight, and you have to go there because they don't do online check-in. And it's like, I mean, security lines at LAX are not known for being short, so I'm a little worried, but, you know, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. I have TSA pre-check, but I don't know if it like actually got onto to my ticket for this flight. I think I put it into my reservation, but I don't remember. So we'll see. There's my flight, 9:25 a.m. Got my ticket, finally. It has the Southern Airways logo on it. That's very cute. Okay, that was 25 minutes after the counter was supposed to open. A guy showed up, asked for my ID, printed a ticket, and was like, gate 64C. I'm like, okay. So we're doing that. It feels so exclusive, you know? Like, I was the only one there waiting for Southern. It would be weird if I was the only one on the plane. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, heading to security. They did give me a pre-check, so that's the good news. And then I'll see y'all out by the gate in a bit, hopefully soon. That was about as painless as security could be expected to be. It's like, I don't know, 3 minutes. Anyway, it is currently 8:10, and the flight isn't until 9:25. You do have to be at the gate 30 minutes early because the plane is too small to put at the gate, so they put us on a bus and take us to the plane. So anyway, I'll be there for that. But until then, I am going to go make sure the gate exists. I don't know, I'm one of those people who does that. And then I'm going to go find breakfast. And I will see you all closer to departure time. It's also very funny because no one at LAX has heard of Southern Airways. Like, the person checking my ticket at security was like, Southern? And then they were like, well, 64C is here at the right terminal. I was like, you know what? I'll take it. They have like one check-in counter with just like a random like LAX employee who just shows up and checks you in. But anyway, it's all part of the adventure. Got music on the bus. Finally doing this. There's a few other people. So we've got 4 passengers, 5 total passengers, including me. Anyway, short bus ride across the airport to where Southern Airways is. Okay, we have more people going on. We have 8 total passengers, it seems. Anyway, we are driving across the airport. It is very weird to be going across the airport on this little cutaway bus in between all these gigantic passenger jets. I'll show you all the view later. It's a tiny little plane. I was like all hunched over trying to get to my seat. Got a safety card. And off we go. They were just like, put your carry-on bags in between your feet. So that's what I did. It's not too uncomfortable. Legroom is like decent for a plane. Probably fairly comparable to the FlixBus, except the bags don't fit under the seat, so you kind of just have to sit with them, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. Anyway, we're getting ready to go here. lights, but the air conditioning does work. Anyway.
Yeah. Unknown Brain, Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games, yeah. I know that I found somebody else to love me one day, yeah. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side, no. You did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say
And here we are. Okay, I used to be a massive aviation nerd. That was cool. From that perspective, that was pretty cool. It's the smallest plane I've been on by a long shot. The next smallest sat like 80 people, and that seats 9 passengers. Anyway, in the terminal, and now I am out of the terminal. I am gonna try and run for the bus. There is no guarantee I'll make it, but I'd really rather not wait an hour and a half for the next one. So, yeah. That's the plan. The bus is like a 25-minute walk away. And I have, I think, like 18 minutes until it leaves. So, you know, we're gonna see. And also I have to go on the side of a highway, so I'm not excited for this. This is why I didn't want to do this flight, but it's okay. It's gonna be an adventure. Okay, I'm gonna go and see you hopefully on the bus soon. Yeah, so this is literally the side of a divided highway. Not very fun. I'm going up to that next traffic light and turning right. And the buses don't serve the airport here, which to some extent makes sense because like they get all of like 2 flights a day, but still. Oh my god. Okay. I'm out of shape. Anyway, I'm gonna hopefully make it there. I do not wanna. If I don't make the bus, I'm probably just gonna walk to El Centro, and I'd rather not do that. So, cause that's 3 miles away. So yeah. Whew. Okay, so I turned onto this other road, which isn't much better, but it means a little better. Less walking in the road and we're walking on whatever this... I feel like this is not where I'm supposed to walk. Oh, it's a gas pipeline. Okay. Well, that's okay. Hopefully nothing happens to it while I'm here. Oops. I found a sidewalk. It is wonderful. Much better than walking in the road or on a gas pipeline. Progress Trail. Doesn't look like they made a lot of progress out there. Here's the bus stop, finally. This is a nice bus shelter. I love the architecture of this bus shelter. We got a wonderful bench, trash can, very pretty bus shelter, and matching one on the other side of the street. It's a pretty good deal. If my eyes do not deceive me, that is a bus. I'm so excited. It should be like a 10-15 minute bus ride to downtown El Centro. What a bus! Amazing. Okay, yeah. It's train's pretty cheap here. It's $125. They do only take cash though. But yeah, quick ride down to El Centro and then we'll be done. When I step off this bus, the time stops for this mode of the trip. Okay, off the bus. It is 11:14 a.m. and I left Union Station at 6:27 a.m. So you do the math. Wait. 5 hours would be 11:27. So 27 minus 14 is, oh god, 13. You can tell I'm an arts major. Anyway, so that's 4 hours and 47 minutes of travel time between the two central transit hubs of Los Angeles and El Centro, which makes the plane slower than taking the bus. So why that flight exists or why anyone takes it is quite beyond me, but we made it. I am so tired. Okay, so it's the next day now, back in the transit center, but let's do a debrief comparing FlixBus and plane between LA and El Centro. So first, let's just compare each thing side by side. So first, cost. For the FlixBus ticket, I paid $41.98, and that was an end-to-end trip. Like, I didn't have to transfer onto any local buses or trains or anything, so that was... all I paid for it was the $41.98. For the plane, I paid $59 for the plane ticket. And then to get to LAX, I took the flyaway bus, which cost me $9.75. And to get from El Centro Airport, or Imperial County Airport, into El Centro, I took the local Imperial Valley Transit bus, which was $125. So in total, that's $69. Nice, but also a lot more money. So FlixBus wins on that front. The second was time. FlixBus, again, that was just an end-to-end trip. That was 4 hours and 8 minutes. The plane, including all of the buses as well, was 4 hours and 47 minutes. So FlixBus wins in that area as well. And then let's talk about comfort. They have similar seats in terms of comfort and recline and legroom and all of that. However, FlixBus seats, you can fit your luggage under them. On the plane, and there's overhead racks on FlixBus. On the plane, you just have to put your luggage in between your legs, and that's really quite uncomfortable. However, the FlixBus is like 2 seats by 2 seats, so there's a chance that you'll have like a seatmate with you for the ride. On the plane, it's 1 by 1, so you're by yourself, which is nice. On the plane, the overhead lights didn't work, and they do work on FlixBus. And FlixBus also has a bathroom on board and makes longer stops at some places so that you can run in and use the bathroom at a gas station or whatever. And also, stretch your legs, get a snack. The plane is tiny. The roof is really short, so you can't stand up in there. There's no bathroom in there. You have to wear your seatbelt the entire flight. So even though it's shorter, it's only an hour when you're on the actual plane, you can't move around at all. You're just there with your bags between your legs, stuck in that seat, not moving, not doing anything. So I think overall, I would say I would prefer FlixBus for comfort. Also, the plane was really turbulent. Lots of bumps, especially in the second half of the flight. FlixBus, you're just driving down the highway. It's pretty smooth, pretty easy. Over-the-road highway coaches are really comfortable. They just go. And so I'd give comfort to FlixBus just a little. Not that the plane is super uncomfortable, but FlixBus is more comfortable. And then also, I guess, just like the hassle of everything. FlixBus, you show up. You're supposed to show up 15 minutes before departure in case the bus is early. You get on the bus, it drives, you get off the bus and you're there. And that's a downtown to downtown trip. It's really easy. And both here and in LA, the FlixBus / Greyhound station is integrated with the Central Transit Center, which is great because then you have really easy access to the rest of the city and the region by connecting onto local bus services. Meanwhile, flying, you have to get to LAX, and LAX is not an easy airport for anyone at any time. The flyaway bus takes a while. It costs a lot of money. You have to sit in LAX traffic. You have to find the check-in counter. You have to wait for someone to show up to the check-in counter. You have to check in. You have to go through security. You have to go wait at the gate. You have to be at the gate minimum 30 minutes before the departure time. You have to be at check-in minimum 60 minutes before the departure time. And then they put you on a bus, put you on the plane. Eventually the plane takes off, it flies, lands. Then you have to get through the terminal, out the terminal, and then if you don't have a car, you have to walk down the highway for over a mile to get to the bus stop. And that's not a fun experience. So overall, I really don't see an upside to flying. Now, the one thing that it could be slightly more convenient for is if you're connecting from another flight. So for example, let's say you flew in from London to LAX and you live in El Centro and you want to come out here. The plane's already at LAX, so you don't have to deal with the whole hassle of getting to the airport. However, it isn't as easy as it sounds because Southern Airways doesn't code share with other airlines, so you can't book a through ticket from London to LAX to El Centro. What you have to do is you have to book separate tickets. So you book your London to LAX ticket, and then you book your LAX to El Centro ticket, which means that after you arrive in from London, you go through customs, whatever, you get your bags from baggage claim, you leave security, then you go back around, check in again for your new flight to El Centro, go back through security, and then get on the plane. So it's really not that much more convenient, especially considering you could just take the flyaway bus from your London flight to Union Station and then catch FlixBus. Let's also talk about frequency. FlixBus runs about 2 times a day. The plane is 1 or 2 times a day, so they're pretty comparable in that respect. But I do think the FlixBuses are timed pretty well. There's an evening trip in both directions, which is nice to have because then you can have your day in LA, do what you need to do, and then get on the bus and get home. So honestly, I don't know. I don't think I would ever do that flight again. I don't think it was worth spending more than $25 more on and more time. I will also especially add, while there may be minor upsides to the plane in terms of it's kind of cool, and if you're connecting from another flight it can be a little bit convenient. However, I don't think those are worth a federal subsidy. Quite frankly, I don't think the federal government should be paying for people to have a convenient flight connection from London to LAX to El Centro. I think that the point of this program is to provide transportation connections to places that don't have transportation connections. So in places like Alaska, sure, it's great. I think the essential air service is essential. But unfortunately, in the case like this, I'm going to have to agree. I think this is the only time I'm ever going to agree with the Heritage Foundation and say that I don't think that this flight is worth it for the federal government to be spending money on. I think if Southern Airways wants to fly this flight anyway, that's up to them, and that's their choice if it's going to make money or not. But I don't think it's at all worth it for there to be a federal subsidy for this kind of air service. So I think that when there are, reasonable ground transportation alternatives to flying, either by bus or rail, that we shouldn't be subsidizing airline flights. And there's so many reasons for this. It's also just better for the environment. It's better for communities. It's easier. It's more accessible, and it's higher capacity. So at the end of the day, I think that if we want to be subsidizing transportation connections to underserved places, we need to be subsidizing ground transportation. We should be subsidizing buses, rail. We should be subsidizing FlixBus and Greyhound to add service to these smaller cities, and ensuring that they have good service levels, rather than spending millions of dollars on these airline flights that can seat 9 people and aren't really that much better for the consumer. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm definitely not on team airplane. Sorry, Southern Airways. It was a fun flight, but I don't think it's worthwhile. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure. The person who was next to me in the window seat here got off, so I took her seat. Anyway, I think, okay, my mini rant about FlixBus, like, the main thing I really don't like about it is the assigned seats. I really don't like assigned seats on buses, or trains for that matter. I feel like, it's not an airplane. Stop treating it like an airplane. I get that you can make money from charging me extra to select a seat, but then sometimes the driver doesn't enforce the selected seats and so on, or someone is just in the wrong seat, and it's rude to make, it's kind of rude to ask them to move. So it would just be better. That's honestly the main thing I don't like about Greyhound being bought by FlixBus, is having to do assigned seats now, because pre 2022, you didn't have to. It was just, you got on the bus, you sat where there was room, and it was faster, it was easier. But I don't know, it's fine. Unless someone yells at me for being in this seat, I'm going to enjoy the view of the freeway at night.